everyone, hey all, welcome back to the channel, and I'm so glad that you dropped by because today we're going to take a look at this guy. It is the 35th anniversary Siege Bluestreak, and honestly, I didn't know what to think of this guy. I'd seen him, but I didn't have him in hand, and this isn't mine, it belongs to a good friend of the channel, Cyril. And I said a little while ago that I thought that Barricade wore this mold the best. Is that still true? Well, we're about to find out when we focus on this guy in the latest GotBot True review. Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. I'm your host, your humble host, Dennis Moulton, aka GotBot. As always, please like, comment, share, of course, subscribe, and while you're at it, that's right, hit that notification bell because it lets you know when content of all sorts goes up here on the channel. Check out Machinery of Man, The Everything Factor, Transformers Collectors, NL, the Autobot family, and have a look for me everywhere across social media. And this is the 35th anniversary Siege Bluestreak, as I already said. And when I looked at the Barricade use of this mold and said then that I thought that it was the best use, I was well aware that I had not had this guy in hand yet, and a lot of people said, no man, the Bluestreak is better. Well, me being me, I'm ever the skeptical one. But in hand, he is pretty impressive. Now I'm going to, obviously, give him the normal grades that we always do, but I also want to compare him to my custom Classics Bluestreak and see sort of which one embodies the G1 character the most. So without any further ado, let's head over to the table and take a closer look at this guy. And yes indeed, here we have the 35th anniversary Siege Bluestreak, and of course his counterpart, so to speak, with Classics Bluestreak, my custom Classics Bluestreak. And it seemed only fitting to kind of compare both of these guys. Now in vehicle mode, obviously the Classics wins in comparison to the G1 animation, hands down. It has the black going back over the hood and the roof. It has the silver going down along the sides. I don't think it's supposed to have the red hubcaps, but hey, I like the red hubcaps. The Siege one, you will note, has a like the coloration is correct. There's a nice warm gray along with the black or translucent going over the top. The accessory storage not nearly as good on the Siege as it is on the Classics. The Classics, as many of us know by now, has a little blaster that folds up and goes up underneath the hood. Here you can do this and put like the silver blaster down in the top and the two shoulder mounted blasters like on the side there, I guess. They're a cool gray, a bit different. I think that they were going for a silvery look. So I understand why they use a different color, but I kind of wish, because in the animation, his shoulder blasters were the same color as the gray of his body, I kind of wish that if they went with this warm gray here, they had gone with this warm gray up here. Or if not, paint it silver. Go all the way and paint it silver like you did right there with the main blaster. In vehicle mode, you can take these and remove them, and there's another rectangular peg there, and you can make them lower if you want. Leave them up high like this, or make them lower. Again, if you are so inclined, you can take both of these off, because these are the, by the way, all three of these accessories are the same ones that came with Barricade, and we can put them all together like that. And when we put them together, of course, the two long pegs are now out to the side. We have like a 5mm peg on the bottom, and we can stick that down there. If you think that that looks better, it's up to you. Now, I've mentioned Barricade, I've mentioned Classics Bluestreak here. I've looked at a few Bluestreaks over the years. Like I looked at G1 Bluestreak back in episode 297. I looked at the KO by Tasaka Tomy, I think it was. It's a KO of the blue Bluestreak, the masterpiece blue Bluestreak. I looked at that KO a long time ago in episode 166. I looked at Prowl in episode 532, where I showed the conversion going from robot to vehicle. And I said there that the Prowl's alright. Overall, he's about a 9. He had a few tolerance issues, like certain looseness. And then I looked at Barricade, in episode 610. And I said that overall he was a 9.75, and he probably wears this mold the best. Arguably, this guy might wear it as well or better. We'll see as we go forward here. But I looked at the Classics Bluestreak back in episode 310, and I got this guy while thrifting for $3. I couldn't pass him up for $3. Now, he did need a little bit of work. But now in vehicle mode, taking this off, in vehicle mode to vehicle mode, if you like the Cybertronian mode, great, but obviously the Classics looks more like the original G1 animation. We don't need to actually show the conversion because while with Prowl we saw it going from robot to vehicle in episode 532, with Barricade we already did it from vehicle back to robot. So again, you can check out episode 532 or you can check out episode 610 if you need help with the conversion going either way. Honestly though, I don't think you should need help with it. It's pretty intuitive, and for both of them and for this guy, honestly, the transformation is, it should be a 10. For the other two, it's 10. For this guy, it's actually 9.5. Why do I mark it down slightly here? Because, and I think it'll become a 10, like over time, but I find with this one that I had trouble tabbing the back feet together, and there's certain parts on it where when I bend it, I'm like, is this gonna break or is it gonna bend? Now everything is bent, but like especially the shoulder assembly here and the front tires, when you go to bend them, I find it scary at this point. So I'm gonna say 9.5. It might be a case of kind of things will vary and your mileage will, may vary, and it may loosen up with a few transformations, so it might be a 10, but for now, with my personal experience, I'm going to say 9.5. So, since we don't need to see the transformation, we can go from these guys in their vehicle modes. Oh, by the way, I will point this out. In vehicle mode, he does have nice colored in tail lights, and he does have nice colored in hubcaps. I think he has the best tires of anybody in this mold. But, because we don't actually have to show the transformation, we can go from both of these guys looking like this to what they look like in their robot modes, which looks like this. And I both adore and dislike both of these robot modes for different reasons. If we just kind of compare the marks here for the Bluestreaks, so far all we've done is transformation. We said a 9.5 for the Siege. I'm telling you now, for the Classics, it is admittedly only about a 4 because it does have the frustration of those door wings that like to pop off. Now, on my Bluestreak, surprisingly, all the joints are super tight and secure. Same on the Siege. I don't know, Bluestreak always gets good tolerances, good tight tolerances, I guess. I suppose that's the takeaway, but if we just compare transformations, the Siege clearly wins hands down. If you like or dislike the Cybertronian mode, hey, that's a different story. In terms of coloration, the Fresh Out of Package Classics was about a 7 with the custom work that I did on him, adding a bit of red on his abdomen, doing a lot of work with grays and silvers on the shoulders and hands, and I took the gray forearms and painted those black, so a lot of work there, but in the end it was about a 9. The Siege coloration out of package, honestly, it has the red midriff like it should, it has the gray lower legs, it has the red thighs, the shoulders and pelvis, which should be a darker gray, they've done here with gunmetal gray, and I think it's gorgeous, it's beautiful. The forearms are black like they should be on the Siege, the hands are gray like they should be on the Siege. The only thing off on the Siege, the only thing off, even the Autobot symbol on his hood is there, the only thing off on the Siege is the red biceps. If I owned this, I would paint them either gray or silver. Like I said, now you can see it in robot mode a bit. I love the warm gray on his body, but I wish that these shoulder pieces were either full-on silver like the hand blaster or the same shade of gray as the body. But that's just me, and that's just a minor nitpick. So, comparatively now, for the Classics, we have a 4 and we have a 9. For the Siege, we have a 9.5, and honestly, I'm going to say a 9.5. Nigh on perfect. Very, very strong. What about the articulation for the guy? Well, the articulation for the Classics was a 10. Hopefully the articulation here is a 10. The wing pieces, they can move and get out of the way. They can't go up and down, but they can get out of the way so that you have a full rotation of the shoulder. The shoulder can go out. The shoulder pad, as we know by now, it too can move down, which is kind of good because you can put it in different positions for like prowl, for smoke screen, for barricade, and for this guy, and sort of at least make the silhouette slightly different. We do have a 90 degree at the elbow. We do have a bicep swivel. We do have a wrist rotation. The arms can go all the way out to the side just fine. The head can go left. It can go right. Oh, like an up and down wiggle. Nice free flowing waist. Absolutely love that. The hips, soft ratchet out to the side. I don't feel like Prowl has a soft ratchet, but this guy certainly does. We have a thigh swivel. It's pretty tight here. There's a mushroom peg up in the thigh, but it's there. We have a super deep knee bend. We have a heel, and we have really great ankle tilt. Honestly, there's nothing more really for a deluxe that I could want. 10, 10. Here's the thing. When it comes to Barricade, his overall score was, say, a 9.75. I think this guy's overall score is also a 9.75. He's neither better than nor worse than Barricade. I said Barricade wore this probably the best. This guy's a tie. He wears this mold very, very nicely. For me, even though the Classics isn't the better offering for the character, this clearly is. The Classics is still going to personally stand in my collection because I prefer the Earth-based alt mode. Which brings me to a question and a curiosity. We know that it's been rumored, if not announced by the time you guys see this, if not released by the time you guys see this, that we're getting an Earthrise smokescreen. I don't know if it is just a re-release of the Siege smokescreen, or if it's a completely different iteration of smokescreen. But if they were to take basically this engineering and reshell it with like a more indicative Earth mode, like Earth vehicle mode, I might be in for it. I would like it to be a little bit bigger. It is a little bit slight, and the proportion of the thigh to the lower leg feels somewhat Transformers animated to me. Nevertheless, those last few points are really just personal aesthetic likes and dislikes, completely subjective. Objectively speaking, this guy is fantastic. So much so that I thought that all this gray that's on his body was paint. It's not. It's just sleek gray plastic. Done very, very well. And here we are once again with both of them. The Classics, to me, is still my one of choice. But there's a strong argument to be made for this guy because in terms of objective measurements, he is fantastic, and the gunmetal gray here is beautiful. His robot accuracy to the original is, or to the original animation, is pretty much perfect. The biceps, maybe the shoulder blasters, but like they're nitpicks. This is done extremely well. This guy, granted, I understand why some people would say he's certainly dated, and fresh out of package and just stock out of package, he's not quite as accurate. I prefer this Earth vehicle mode. But I understand if people are in for the Cybertronian mode. And honestly, if you've gone in for one version of this mold and you like it, you might as well go in for the rest. I wouldn't say that this is better or worse than Barricade. I would say it's pretty much on par. This guy and Barricade, easily, both for different reasons, wear the mold fantastically well. Let me know which iteration of this mold is your favorite, because it's been used a few times now. Which do you think is the best version? You know I love to hear from you guys. I appreciate you dropping by. Give me some of your extremely valuable time. If you're in a position to help the channel to grow, please use the donate link down in the description. Don't forget to hit the subscribe button because it helps me out so very much. Don't forget also that somehow, some way, each and every day you do make a difference. And I look forward to the next time that you and I get together right here to have another visit, either in the live streams, at the stop motion premieres, or the old fashioned way, inside the videos.